You want to change your life. You want success. Then stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is a spark. It fades. Discipline is the engine that keeps you moving when the fire goes out. You can't depend on feelings. Feelings are fragile. One bad day, one distraction, one excuse, and you're done. Discipline is the difference between those who dream and those who do. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation was built on one brutal truth. They did it even when they didn't feel like it. When you say you want to change your life, you must understand something fundamental. Motivation will not save you. It's a temporary spark, a flash of excitement that fades as quickly as it comes. Discipline, on the other hand, is the fire that never dies. It's the steady force that keeps burning even when your emotions turn cold. You can't depend on how you feel if you want to create something extraordinary. Feelings are fragile. They shift with the weather, they crumble under pressure, they give you reasons to stop when life gets hard. But discipline is built on decision, not desire. It's the art of moving forward when every part of you wants to stop. It's the power to silence the voice that says, I don't feel like it, and replace it with, I must. Every great man, every successful woman, every visionary who reshaped their destiny didn't rely on being in the mood. They relied on discipline. They acted despite resistance. They pushed through fear. They showed up again and again until their actions became their nature. There will be mornings when your bed feels heavier than your dreams, when your body aches and your mind whispers excuses. That's when discipline becomes your weapon. Discipline isn't about what you do when everything feels right. It's about what you do when everything feels wrong. It's in those hard, ugly, uncomfortable moments that your strength is forged. When you force yourself to get up, to work, to show up, even when your heart isn't in it, you're creating the version of yourself that can't be broken. You're teaching your mind to obey your will. You're building the kind of power that doesn't depend on emotion. Most people lose the battle because they wait to feel ready. They wait for clarity, for confidence, for courage. But the truth is, you don't get ready. You become ready by acting. Readiness is born in motion. The more you move, the more you grow. The more you discipline yourself to take action, the more your feelings will follow. You cannot think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. Discipline demands that you move when everything inside you says stop. It's an internal rebellion, a war between who you are and who you're meant to become. Your mind will always seek comfort, but comfort never built a legacy. Comfort never created a champion. Comfort never transformed a life. You have to step into discomfort on purpose, again and again, until it becomes familiar. When you lift weights, you tear muscle fibers so they can rebuild stronger. The same is true for your mind. Discipline is mental weightlifting. It tears down weakness and rebuilds resilience. Every time you say no to temptation, every time you override your emotions, every time you do what you should instead of what you want, you're strengthening your inner core. You're programming your brain to operate on commitment instead of convenience. You stop being the type of person who waits to be inspired and become the type of person who inspires others simply by their consistency. You see, most people think discipline is restrictive, but in reality, it's the ultimate freedom. It frees you from regret, from guilt, from that heavy feeling of wasted potential. When you are disciplined, you no longer need to depend on others to push you. You no longer need external validation to move. You have internal control. You dictate your day, your direction, your destiny. Without discipline, you drift. You let life happen to you instead of shaping it with intention. You become reactive instead of proactive. Every time you let your feelings decide your actions, you surrender your power. Discipline gives that power back. It says, no matter how I feel, I will do what needs to be done. And that, right there, is the mindset of every person who has ever turned an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. The undisciplined mind lives in excuses. The disciplined one lives in results. The difference between the two is not talent, not luck, not opportunity. It's consistency through discipline. You have to understand that discipline is not built in a single day. It's not something you turn on with a motivational quote or a good morning speech. It's built brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision. It's built when you choose to wake up earlier than you want to. When you choose to eat clean instead of giving in to cravings. When you choose to work one more hour while everyone else is scrolling through their phone. It's built in silence, when no one's watching, when no one claps for you, when there's no applause, no recognition, just your willpower and your mission. Discipline is not glamorous, it's not loud, it's not exciting, it's quiet, repetitive, and relentless. But that's what makes it powerful. It's what turns amateurs into professionals, dreamers into doers, and vision into reality. The secret to success is not doing something once with passion. It's doing it 1,000 times with discipline. And when you start forcing yourself to be disciplined, something incredible happens. Your standards rise. You stop tolerating mediocrity from yourself and from others. You begin to expect more from your time, your effort, your energy. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop letting laziness have a voice in your life. Because you realize discipline is not just about doing the hard things. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't run from them. You develop mental calluses. You build emotional armor. You stop needing to feel inspired because discipline has become your identity. It's no longer a choice. It's who you are. That's the transformation most people never reach. They stay stuck in the loop of waiting for the right time, the right feeling, the right circumstance. But you choose to move anyway. You choose to push forward. You choose to act with discipline. Because you've learned the truth, motivation starts the journey, but discipline finishes it. There will be days when you wake up and the world feels heavy. Days when the alarm rings, but your body aches. Your mind whispers, not today, and every fiber of your being begs for comfort. Those days are where discipline is forged. Not on the easy mornings when motivation flows through you, but in those hard, silent battles when no one is watching and quitting feels like the easy choice. That's the battlefield where greatness is born. You see, discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't need your permission. It doesn't wait for your enthusiasm or depend on your energy. It simply demands that you show up. It asks you to prove your commitment through action, not emotion. The moment you force yourself to do what needs to be done, despite fatigue or fear, you're taking control back from the weaker part of yourself. You're training your soul to obey purpose over feelings. And that's what separates the disciplined from the defeated. The truth is, most people let emotions dictate their actions. They only move when they feel like it, only grind when they're inspired, only commit when conditions are perfect. But life doesn't reward those who wait for ideal conditions. It rewards those who create them. Discipline is the refusal to be ruled by mood. It's the inner command that says, I move regardless. That mindset transforms ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Every time you act against your emotions, you're strengthening a muscle in your mind, a muscle that grows tougher, sharper, more focused with each repetition. That's why disciplined people seem fearless. It's not because they don't feel resistance, it's because they've mastered it. They've learned to override that lazy voice that whispers excuses. They don't allow emotions to control execution. Their consistency becomes their power, their silence becomes their strength. And every single time they act when they don't want to, they win a battle most will never fight. You must understand this, the gap between who you are and who you want to be will only be closed through discipline. You can't think your way there. You can't wish your way there. You must act your way there. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you're building credibility with yourself. You're proving that your word means something. And that self-trust is priceless. It's what drives confidence, focus, and power. When you break promises to yourself, you weaken your own foundation. You start doubting your ability to commit. But when you act with discipline, when you show up even when you're tired, uninspired, or afraid, you reinforce the truth that you can rely on yourself. That's what real power feels like. It's not loud, it's not boastful, it's quiet certainty. The kind that says, I'll show up regardless. That kind of consistency becomes unshakable. It's what builds champions, leaders, and visionaries. It's the essence of resilience. Every disciplined act you take carves a new pattern into your character. It's not just about getting through a workout, finishing a project, or keeping a promise. It's about transforming who you are at the deepest level. Discipline rewires the way you see yourself. It replaces I can't with I will. It turns hesitation into momentum. It teaches you that pain is temporary, but pride is permanent. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen the belief that you're in control. You start realizing that progress isn't built on giant leaps. It's built on the small, consistent steps you take when no one notices. That's the secret. Discipline isn't a burst of effort, it's a lifestyle of commitment. It's the unglamorous grind that compounds into greatness. People will see the results one day, but they'll never see the lonely hours, the quiet sacrifices, the relentless repetition behind it. That's what makes discipline sacred. It's your private contract with your purpose. Discipline doesn't come naturally. It's cultivated through repetition. It's built in the moments of resistance. Every time you choose the harder path, you're conditioning your mind to obey your vision instead of your excuses. You're teaching yourself that temporary discomfort is worth long-term fulfillment. And that's the trade most people never make. They want instant pleasure instead of lasting progress. But discipline flips that equation. It makes you strong enough to delay gratification, to endure the now for the sake of the next. You'll start noticing that the things that once felt impossible begin to feel normal. Waking up early becomes natural. Working harder becomes second nature. You stop needing external validation because you're driven by something deeper, self-respect. Discipline builds that. It's the quiet power of knowing you're keeping promises no one else even knows about. That's real strength, the kind no one can take from you. And yes, discipline will test you. It will push you to your limits and demand more when you feel empty. It will strip away your excuses, confront your weakness, and force you to decide who you really are. But that's where transformation begins. in the uncomfortable spaces where most people give up. Discipline will challenge you to rise above your feelings, to act with intention when chaos surrounds you. It will teach you that you don't need to feel like it to do it. You just do it. You execute. You move forward. Because you understand that discipline is not punishment. It's preparation. It's sculpting you into someone unshakable, someone focused, someone worthy of the dreams they chase. The process isn't easy, but it's worth every ounce of struggle. Because once you master discipline, you master yourself, and that's the most powerful victory you will ever achieve. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to begin. Stop convincing yourself that someday, when things feel right, when the timing aligns, when the energy is high, you'll start. That day will never come. The truth is, the right time is a lie your comfort tells you to protect your laziness. There will never be a moment when you feel fully ready, fully confident, fully certain. Readiness is not a gift, it's a result. It's built through action, not before it. The people who achieve greatness don't start because they feel prepared. They start because they refuse to keep waiting. They understand that motion creates momentum. They take the first uncomfortable step, and that step becomes a rhythm. That rhythm becomes consistency, and that consistency builds mastery. Most people are trapped in a loop of hesitation, waiting for a signal that will never arrive. But the ones who break free understand a simple truth. You don't need to feel ready to start. You need to start to feel ready. Every time you hesitate, every time you stall, every time you wait for motivation, you lose time. You lose energy. You lose opportunities. The longer you wait, the weaker your will becomes. Waiting is the enemy of progress because it feeds your fear. The more you delay, the louder the doubts become. The only way to silence them is through action. You can't think your way out of fear. You must move through it. Action kills anxiety. Movement creates clarity. Once you start, even in uncertainty, you begin to see what's possible. The first attempt won't be perfect, but it will be progress. And progress is what perfection is built on. Waiting for perfect conditions is like waiting for the ocean to calm before you learn to swim. It's never going to happen. You have to jump in. You have to get wet. You have to learn through doing. Discipline is what gets you into motion. When your emotions say stop, it's what transforms hesitation into execution. It's what separates those who wish from those who win. The world is full of people who almost started. People who almost launched their business, almost pursued their dream, almost changed their life. Almost is the graveyard of potential. It's where greatness goes to die. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's the courage to move without guarantees. Discipline gives you that courage. It teaches you that certainty is not a prerequisite for progress. You don't need to know every step to take the first one. You don't need to see the finish line to start the race. Every great achiever began in uncertainty. They were afraid, unsure, insecure, but they moved anyway. They used discipline to keep walking through the fog until the path revealed itself. They understood that clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. Every step forward sharpens your vision. Every attempt refines your direction. Every act of discipline brings you closer to mastery. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is logical. Motivation depends on how you feel, but discipline depends on what you decide. When you wait for motivation, you surrender control. You're allowing your emotions to dictate your destiny. But when you act with discipline, you take control back. You stop waiting for inspiration and start creating it. You realize that inspiration is not something you find, it's something you generate through action. The more you do, the more you want to do, the more you move, the more energy